All right, guys, I'll be watching Shane Gillis clowns the Austin comedy scene. I have not seen this. Probably seen like 5 seconds of it, to be honest with you guys. But let's just start it right quick.
Well, that's what if you come on, man, that's just hanging around the cellar. That's just table stuff, you know?
True.
That's just being at the table.
It's nice. That's a nice Templar. That's where that kind of talk belongs, dude.
Yeah.
You can't
give it out to the civilians for free, dude.
Yeah, bro. You can't diffuse the legendary hang.
So many fucking assassins down here. We got.
Alright, so during a recent episode of Matt and Shane's secret podcast, Shane Gillis and Matt McCusker spent some time talking about the overall comedy war that's happening right now between Austin, Texas, and pretty much the rest of the world. And even though they both live in Austin and do
I did not know that. Is there an active war right now with the LA or whoever it might be against Texas comedy? From what I've heard of is that Texas comedy is like pretty new compared to New York and LA comedy. No, I'm not gonna try to say like, oh yeah, I want them to fail. Like, yeah, sure, go ahead, and I want you guys to succeed. Like, why would I want you guys to fail? I don't have no ill will towards Texas or people around there.
That's at the mothership every single week. It seems like they don't want to be associated with the Austin comedy scene whatsoever. And it's almost like they'd take it as an insult if you classified them as Austin comics, which is a completely valid feeling to have. Like, sure, Matt and Shane are great friends with the entire Rogan sphere, but that doesn't change the fact that their friends are complete hacks. And they know this. I mean, you just saw them making fun of how Joe Rogan considers him and his posse as assassins, or the comedy death squad. And shortly you'll see them
look, I think those are, of course, those are inside jokes.
Make fun of how pretentious it is to consider comedy as a sacred art form like Joe Rogan and Andrew Schultz have on several JRE episodes. So they're very aware of the bad reputation that Austin has garnered over the years. And they obviously know about all the hate that their buddies receive online. Because in this next clip, they admit to watching YouTube videos criticizing the Rogan sphere and how Joe Rogan has ruined comedy. So something tells me that the Elephant Graveyard's recent video about that whole scene...
I'll tell you that I haven't seen that video. I'll, maybe one of these days I'll try to watch that one, because I heard it was pretty good.
...left a long-lasting impact on Shane Gillis and Matt McCusker.
I still get moved every time when I see a dude with like genuine disabilities doing this thing on stage, because to me it's like, I don't know, I would give in. It would just be too much for me. I don't know that my spirit would be resilient enough to fucking practice the sacred art form that is stand-up comedy.
Dude, it's such a sacred art. And that's what the thing that's driving me during the comedy wars is how sacred the art is. That's all.
I get it. It's just so silly when Joe has he has said a couple of silly statements out there, like, we're the last line of defense for comedy or whatever.
Yeah, dude.
The comedy wars will pass.
Yeah, you will. They'll pass. It'll pass.
This is what I got to go to New York last week.
I'm going back to Philly for about 6 months. So
yeah.
I'm out. Fuck the Austin scene, dude.
No.
I'm back. East Coast till I die, bro. East Coast all day. Well, we were watching nasty YouTube videos about the comedy wars. Yeah. And I was like, what are we doing? Let's get something positive.
Nasty videos, huh? Well, the criticism must be nasty. I mean, to be honest with you, like a lot of these people that, they review the certain podcast moments, they have their own narrative towards things, and it's usually not really good. It's not great. When are they gonna make a video about, a comedian doing really good, right? Or, I mean, unless you're what's it called, Joker or something, or Joke World. If you're Joke World, then you're gonna do a positive take on it, but they're gonna call that guy like, oh, he's an industry plant.
No, I had to stop.
Put on fucking Grind the Tape.
So much, dude. The fate of the universe hangs in the balance, bro.
Well, the comedy wars.
Yes,
dude. The Austin comedy scene's too powerful. LA and New York need to unite to destroy the Austin comedy scene. How are they gonna stop it?
So we have all the butt wipes.
And so, throughout this podcast, Shane Gillis kept bringing up how he's from Philadelphia, which to me just shows how much he doesn't want to be labeled as a comedian from Austin, even though he currently lives there. Which is just so funny to me. I mean, it'd be like if Joe Rogan considered himself as a Boston comic. just because he started doing comedy there. Like, that is the length that Shane's willing to go to separate himself from this army of healthy hacks. He even considers the podcast he does with Matt McCusker to be a Philly podcast, even though all of the recent episodes have been filmed in one of their huge Austin mansions.
Yeah, like, I guess so. Yeah, like, they are still from Philly. The mindset that they carry is from Philadelphia, you know, but not really from Texas. Like, if they were to be a Texas comedy whatever, then they will probably embrace it more than they embrace their actual origins, where they came from, right?
The people in the New York, everyone talks a big game, and then when they see it, they're very interested in knowing how that's working, and can they get a little piece of that. There's a hopelessness out there. You got LA, you say, what are the podcasts that you can go and hear? They got nothing. They got the Bad Friends universe.
No, there's a lot. There's so many. LA and New York are doing great.
No, New York's doing great on the podcast.
LA's got a ton.
If you're Bill Burr's friend.
Glassman's out there.
Yes, that's number 3.
Yeah. There's a lot.
Now name a fourth. Name a fourth.
How many are fucking here?
It's an obvious thing that, yeah, like... like, nobody likes Texas. Usually anybody that lives in Texas, they're not really that cool. Let's be honest. Their beliefs and their ideas, unless, I don't know, maybe your Camp. I don't even think Camp Patterson's from Texas, right? He's from somewhere else. Like, anybody originally from Texas, most likely they're whack. But a lot of the places that were established as comedy spots were LA and New York and Boston and everybody and everywhere else, right?
We got the Matt and Shane Secret Podcast. We got the Joe Rogan
Philly.
Experience.
That's East Coast all day.
You got to take the Stuff Island being here.
Philly all day.
That's Philly podcast.
What am I, Australian podcast?
Yeah.
Philly.
Right.
I also like LA. I was just out there filming a special. It's really nice. I like
LA's
everywhere.
great. Comedy Store's great.
I know. I like everywhere.
Everything's, yeah.
I hope it doesn't devolve into a Banky Tupac situation. I don't want to see. I don't see Joe DeRosa get shot in 92.
Yeah,
What a good time. Everyone will relax and have a good time.
So just for some context here, Shane Gillis moved to Austin back in 2023, drawn in by its tax perks and proximity to Joe Rogan's mothership. But now that Shane Gillis is pretty much Taylor Swift for the average...
Yeah, Shane Gillis was seduced by Joe Rogan to move to Texas. That's what actually happened. Well, look, man. You're a protege. He's a protege. He's on the entourage. He's on Joe Rogan's entourage. He's got to do what the big boss says, okay? Shane had to do it, man. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, either that or start all the way from the bottom. I don't know, really, honestly. I think he would have done good regardless, but I think he might have panicked or something, you know? Or, you know, Joe Rogan's influence probably could have gotten him to move, which a lot of people now regret.
Average frat guy. He really doesn't need to be there anymore. And frankly, Joe needs Shane on his stage more than Shane needs Austin. Or Rogan, for that matter. And now that Rogan, Hinchcliffe, and that whole crowd is being called out, it could be time for Shane Gillis to happily part ways with the Rogan sphere. Not in a way that would make anyone mad, but in like an understanding, sort of wholesome way. Like how Theo Von left the podcast he did with Brendan Schaub, The King and the Sting, or how Joe Rogan slowly stopped...
That's just a weird comparison there, because Theo Von and Brendan Schaub did a show for years and years, and Shane Gillis not really affiliated with Joe Rogan at all. What are you talking about, dude? Like, that's just like some sort of, yeah, let me put in some more words in my script so I could be a little bit longer.
Inviting Brendan Schaub back onto JRE. Like, obviously they both wanted nothing to do with him after he bullied Bobby Lee, but to this day, Brendan still thinks of them as...
Okay, what does that have to do with Shane Gillis, bro? Why are you talking about Brendan Schaub?
Close friends. So I could see that sort of thing going down between Shane Gillis and Papa Toe. So
this is not, how can you correlate these two these relationships between Shane Gillis and Brendan Schaub with Joe Rogan? Brendan Schaub, he has the most guest appearances on the JRE apparently, more than Shane Gillis. But there's also a way different dynamic between both of them.
In this next clip here, Shane, Matt, and their guest, James McCann, started speaking about Mark Maron calling out Joe Rogan and Tony Hinchcliffe in his latest special. And if there's anything that points to Shane not needing Joe Rogan or the Rogan sphere anymore, it's this clip right here. Because unlike Tony Hinchcliffe or Brendan Schaub, who got completely heated and went into full-blown cope and denial mode about Mark Maron calling them out, Shane just kind of makes light of the entire situation, and he even goes as far as to say that he respects what Mark Maron did. Since, in Shane's eyes, Mark's gotten to a point in his 40-year comedy career where he simply doesn't care anymore and calls a hack when he sees one. What Shane mentions that he could see himself doing when he gets...
The comparison between Shane and Mark is that they don't have a sort of like a good established connection compared to Tony Hinchcliffe and Brendan Schaub. That's the difference. Like, Brendan Schaub and Tony Hinchcliffe are way more connected to Joe Rogan than Shane is. Of course, that's why. That's the difference. It's more easier for Shane to get away from that because there isn't that closeness between them. That's why he can like sort of, you know, brush that off.
At that point in his career.
It'll blow over. It's a bunch of bullshit, man. Like motherfucking bullshit.
Yeah, it's kind of embarrassing.
It is. It's deeply a bunch of bickering. I don't like it.
We're better together.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
Stop Austin hate. That's what I say.
Stop Austin hate.
Don't make it become
keep
Austin
beating
strong.
us up in the street, throwing us in front of fucking trains and shit. Stop Austin hate.
Yeah, true. Who do you think's fucking? You think it's a New York comic who's been murdering everyone by Lady Bird Lake?
Certain, without a doubt.
Seems fucking immature.
Mark Maron is stalking
I love their keep bringing back, like, yeah, there's still serial killers in Texas, like they're still active. Like, this is a problem. This gotta be Matt McCusker's problem to Texas right now, is that, hey, yeah, there's people actively killing other people, like serial wise, like, you know, numbers wise. One of the biggest things about Austin or Texas in general is that it's pretty big, you know, everything's bigger in Texas, as they say, and that also includes the murders and the serial killers there. So, you know, it's a problem.
streets at night.
Killing hacks.
True.
Slaying all the hacks.
So he might be on Assassin's Creed. Just sits in the back of an open mic and goes,
I do respect
how uninspiring.
Yeah. I do respect being old and just being like, fucking hacks. Everyone
nice.
sucks. They're all fucking hacks. That could be the life cycle I'm in.
So not only does he not defend Mr. Rogan when the topic arises here, he actually respects what Mark Maron's done this summer, in a kind of twisted sort of way. And I feel that he thinks that this whole beef is just embarrassing. Another interesting point
Well, what is there to defend, though?
in this podcast was actually brought up by the guest, who told Shane and Matt that channels like Too Lazy to Try and Comedy Enforcement don't really rope Shane into being an Austin comedian, which is completely true. I mean, Shane does have a group of people out there that really don't like him, but that's never really touched on by the channel.
Who doesn't? No, it's not true at all. But maybe right in the beginning. Maybe right in the beginning of, like, oh yeah, like the first time he ever got supposedly canceled, right? And then eventually you see, or they do the research, right? And then it's like, oh, well, it's not that bad. Like, it's just like sort of it got overblown and people didn't really see the context of it, right?
In this category, which Shane says it's because we all know that he's from Philadelphia, but really, I think it's because he doesn't approach comedy with this sort of snobby, elitist attitude that guys like Tom Segura, Joe Rogan, Tony Hinchcliffe, and Andrew Schultz all have. And he's also not one to really kiss the floor that Joe Rogan walks on. Like some of these other guys are so scared to call out Joe Rogan on any of the crimes against comedy that he's committed over the years. Like, for example,
those guys were twinning right now. You see that shit? They're like chewing gum at the same time, wearing the same jackets. You see that shit? Look at that.
Really kiss the floor that Joe Rogan walks on. Like some of these other guys are so scared to call out Joe Rogan on any of the crimes against comedy that he's committed over the years. Like, for example, when Joe Rogan put his own photo between Robin Williams and George Carlin's at his Austin Comedy Club. That's gotta be a comedy war crime.
No. Look, here's the thing. If you're an artist, you gotta put yourself in there. You gotta be an alpha and you gotta place yourself in that right? Because if nobody else does it for you, you gotta do it for you. And like, I get that motivation, right? Like, I just, hey, shit, hey, you know, you gotta be, you gotta have some balls sometimes to like actually get noticed around here.
And nobody really said anything about it to Rogan. The only reason he took it down was because the Elephant Graveyard made a video about it, calling him out.
Open micer, I was sitting around going, everyone's a fucking hack piece of shit. They suck.
What have you become? This is what you've done since day one.
Who have I called a hack?
I've seen you up the back of comedy rooms.
Okay, in private.
Yeah, no,
in private.
Only in private. You're very good in public, but
no, don't worry, dude. We're under the spotlight though. The podcast wars.
Butt wipes, please. Butt wipes, please.
I've seen some of these videos.
They always,
butt wipes, forgive us.
They
Dude.
carve
Never
you
give
out.
him butt wipes. Never give him
They
butt
always
wipes.
they go in the Austin comedy scene. Exception.
Is the butt wipes the reference to like Steve-O's, like when Joe Rogan like exposed them, or?
And Gillis, and then they move on. They
That's 'cause
carve
they
you
don't
out at the
fucking
moment.
Philly till I die, dude.
Shane, Matt, and their guest then go on to talk about the increasing amounts of disabled people that are becoming regulars on Kill Tony, joking about how some of them don't seem as innocent as they portray themselves to be. And honestly, I just find this whole topic to be extremely...
Yo, why did you put Bert Kreischer there? Look, yeah, it is. What do you want us to say about that? Like, either like if I say something about it, like it sounds like I'm attacking the disabled people.
Interesting, and I would love to know what you guys think about it, because to me it's always been a net positive that Tony Hinchcliffe platforms good comics no matter what they look or sound like. But I've seen some differing opinions about it online, and I am aware that the Legion of Skanks...
Probably the only downside of it is if one of the disabled or crippled comedians winds up dying.
Skanks guys pranked Tony Hinchcliffe by bringing on their latest golden ticket winner, which was hilariously a guy dressed up as a burn victim who couldn't even say anything on stage, which Tony seemed to be kind of pressed about.
I think this guy could be the next.
I would love to see it. Maybe we'll send him down to Austin because he's fucking great. He's the best. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, give it up for Jimmy Trejo. Jimmy Trejo, come on.
Well, look at, like, I mean, it's just like, what is that? I sound like a horrible person to say that, first of all. But like this is what like Donald Trump will be saying, like, this is DEI, like.
So talented. This guy.
This is like a fucking Key and Peele fucking sketch. What the fuck is that? What is this, man? This is sad. If this is real, this is sad. Tony Hinchcliffe should be like pressed about this. This is fucking horrible. Why?
Jimmy.
Wow. I see why you guys keep him behind a paywall.
So overall, I think it's more complex than I once thought, and I would love to hear your guys'
Oh, okay. So this was a joke. That was a joke. That was the joke between the Legion of Skanks. They're making fun of Tony Hinchcliffe bringing on all these people that are in a very much a dramatization of the burn victim there. All right, I got it, guys.
thoughts on it in the comments.
We have all the butt wipes.
They're doing a nice successful blockade on the butt wipes. They're going into like deep political theory. I mean, like it's actually fascist. You go, fuck, I didn't think about that.
It's gonna backfire. You can't do that.
Blue Chew, are you okay doing business with me?
You can't call the group fascist.
But then you can't say you're not fat.
It's gonna be like Cracker Barrel. It's gonna be like Vanity Fair.
True.
You can't do that.
True.
They're gonna go, well,
There's
that's
1,000 disabled guys going, we will stand with you for my minute, don't get that.
The disabled guys are little nasty fucks, dude.
They're the ones no one's
they're
keeping an eye
little
on.
climber fuckers.
What, dude, yeah. Think about it.
You think because of the disability, you're like, this guy must be a sweetheart. Then you talk to him and you go, this guy's a little climber.
No.
Dude. This guy's a little nasty fuck.
Think about the
And that could
drudgery.
be any of them. I'm not
Well,
saying.
some of them don't have a lot of time. They've got to establish the career very quickly.
I think
Basically, yeah. It's all empathy. It's all empathy. It's an empathy show, man, and it's like a sad thing to do for these people. It's like, who are you doing it for? You? Or like, should you just like, you know, like, what do you, like, if I try to say something different, like, it makes me sound like a bad person as well. But like, it's a sad thing to like witness.
Those guys, they seem good.
Which specific disabled?
They're all fake.
Dude, think about the fucking dread and like drudgery of just being like a healthy young man in an office. You're like, I got to escape this form that is my life. If you fucking strap me down and like scramble my fucking wires, I'd be like, I gotta fucking do something about this.
Yeah, you gotta have nothing but respect for the disabled bros that
For
are
sure.
killing it.
They get me every time.
Does
like,
New York have any disabled men?
A lot of stairs in that.
There's a couple disabled men.
a lot of fake ass motherfuckers.
Yeah, the cellar.
You gotta get carried down into the cellar.
True. Yeah, is that place even fucking?
old stairs.
Is that
New York
place
Comedy
ADA
Club?
compliant, by the way?
The stand.
Let me
I
find
guess
out
if
the
you go
cellar's
in
not ADA
if
compliant.
you go in the front, yeah, they'll get some of those guys.
I was about to make a YouTube video, thank God. I was about to fucking trash them.
Dude, the New York comedy scene, we're coming for you.
We need ramps.
We need ramps, dude. That's one thing Austin's got a fuck ton of. Every comedian takes 30 minutes to get to the stage. They got to sit on one of those fucking... You see our pool parties, everyone's getting dipped in by those pulsating chairs.
We should get a zip line for the balcony.
So at the end of the day, Shane Gillis doesn't really want to be grouped in with the Rogan Sphere guys anymore. Not because he really hates them, but because he doesn't really need to be in it. Like, he's carved out a lane that's just way bigger than Joe Rogan's comedy death squad could ever be. So Rogan's inner circle might be scrambling to defend themselves against critics like Mark Maron, but Shane has already moved past that. And with that being said, that is it for the video. Thank you so much for watching.
Alright guys, so just to summarize the end of this video, right? Or what I thought about this video is that, yeah, I mean, like, obviously, like, Shane doesn't need Joe Rogan or anybody else in the Rogan sphere, Tony Hinchcliffe or whoever else, right? He probably thought he wasn't funny, or I don't know what he thought previously, like he wasn't gonna be making it, but he is talented enough, and he probably realized it now. Obviously now he realized it, that he doesn't need these guys, he doesn't need anybody else. And when he was able to go to SNL and, you know, find some success, he was obviously screwed over for simple mistakes, right? I guess I would say, like, because of the timing of things, because during that time it was a lot of the, like, sort of a lot of woke movements, and like, hey, you know, if you're like acting racist, or you're like saying all these edgy jokes, you're gonna get in trouble for it. And Shane was one of them. But what he did after was reestablish himself and clear the air on who he actually was, right? And now it's like he doesn't need all these big influences to get him in a successful spot, because before that he didn't do that. He didn't have anybody before that. I guess the thing about it was that when he was down, when he was fired and everything was terrible, that Joe Rogan did sort of help his career out. And Tony Hinchcliffe, maybe, yeah, sure, Tony Hinchcliffe is trying to do something nice for people, but at the same time, it's like, it's a sad thing to do to people that are at the end of their life, and you're making them famous, and then they become posthumous, right? And famous, and when they die, like, I don't know though, but I don't know, like, I've never seen anybody do that, like, blatantly, so obviously, and also, but in a repetition wise, right? But anyways, like, I'm gonna just let you guys go there, because I'm done with this thing's obviously like messed up my brain, because I'm gonna be something like an asshole, or I don't know, based. But anyways, guys, I'll let you go here. And anyways, let's thank American Redact for this clusterfuck of a video. Shane Gillis clowns the Austin comedy scene, and like and subscribe, comment down below, and I'll see you guys for another video. All right, guys, bye bye, and I'll see you